this introduction session. And by recording it, we can then use it for reference in the future. And if you have any questions or concerns, please post them in the chat window, which we'll be monitoring for the remainder of the session, okay? So with that, let's get started. So a few things before we begin this session in earnest, a few logistical things. So one thing is, for the first part of this session, we'll be doing a little bit of a Q&A. And so for that, you'll be needing to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. So for that, you will need to go to the participants window and use the raise hand feature when I mention it to you. For today's session, it'll be about a 45-minute session for information, and then about a 15-minute, give or take, question and answer session at the end. If there's any more time that we need to put in, if people are willing to stay, we'll be more than happy to answer questions for you. Like I said earlier, if you have any questions about any technical difficulties or any other issues, please just put them in the chat window and we will be monitoring those. As far as future Zoom sessions, if you do register for Enigmas of Nature, you will be sent the Zoom link a few days prior to the session, and you can use that to join in for the actual workshop. Please make sure you check your emails and make sure you check your spam folder just in case. And then finally, when you do register, make sure that you do register appropriately with the appropriate phone number and email address. If you have WhatsApp, we will be using WhatsApp to send you information about the sessions, as well as connecting you with all of the participants. So you can certainly use that. If you don't have WhatsApp, we can still use your phone number for text purposes, or of course, email is another easy way for us to communicate. All right, so before we get started, I want to just let you guys know a few things. So none of us are experts in education. None of us hold any degrees in education, but we do all enjoy teaching. And through teaching, we also enjoy learning ourselves. We don't want to say that any one education system is bad or wrong or better than any other education system, nor that ours is the best way to go about learning. There are many different ways to learn, and you may find that one way works better for you versus another way. So we hope that what we do is for you is fun and engaging and lets you learn in a different way than you would normally at school. The other thing is, all of the things that we'll be doing are based off of research that have been conducted in the education field, based off of expert opinions, as well as our own experiences with education. So like I said, there's no right way or wrong way to go about doing things. Just this is one of the ways that we can provide a fun and engaging method of learning. Finally, we don't want to say that we can give you any sort of official success guarantee, such as a 4.0 GPA or a letter A grade or anything like that. But what we can do for you is provide you a fun way to learn material and learn about the natural world in sort of a deeper method by engaging you in hands-on activities and giving you a deeper insight onto the subject matter. All right, so with this, we'll be getting started with a few question and answer sessions. So before we get started, I want to say that for each question, you'll be getting about 20 seconds. And for that 20 seconds, you'll be able to raise your hand, and we will pick randomly which people we call on to give us an answer. So if you have an answer for the questions, make sure you raise your hand in Zoom using the raise hand feature. And we will be monitoring that as well, okay? And as I said, just please bear with us. There are some technical difficulties since this is the first time we'll be using Zoom. As you guys know, that we are in the midst of quite a fun pandemic, unfortunately. So because of that, we haven't been able to do interactive sessions in person. So because of that, Zoom is the way we're doing it. So Since this is the first time we're using Zoom, we are also learning as we go along, just like you guys. All right, so first question. What's common among these three men? And if you can name them, also please give us their names. You have 20 seconds. Please use the raise hand feature in Zoom if you know the answer. All right, 20 seconds. 20 seconds is up. Who do we have?
So we have about 7 people.
Okay, so we have quite a few people. So let's get, all right, we're gonna pick random, someone random from the list, okay? So Shankar Fatwani. Go ahead and unmute him. Please say your answer. You'll be unmuted in just a second here. All right, Shankar, please give us your answer. What's common among these three men?
They're all geniuses and they like think differently.
That's right. Okay, they are geniuses and they all think differently. Yes. I hope everyone was able to hear that. I do want to point out, so just make sure that, you know, when you do put in your answer, make sure you speak loud enough so that everyone can hear you. I know this is through a microphone, but still. And that's absolutely a right answer. All of these three men are geniuses and they are pioneers in their field. One of the things I want to point out to you guys, though, is that all three of these men had difficulties in their education system going through their schooling. They all were not the best learners, but that doesn't mean that they weren't able to innovate and pioneer in their own fields, whether that be science, physics, or technology, which shows us that it's not about how well you do necessarily in school as long as you understand the material and apply yourself and dedicate yourself. So we'll go on to the next question. All right, so for the next question, who is this person on the left? And can you tell me what he's doing on the right side? Oh, we'll do another 20 seconds. And you'll have 20 seconds to answer. All right, so that's 20 seconds. All right, we'll pick another person off of the list here. Can we get Neha? Can we get her unmuted? Neha, go ahead and give us your answer. Who's the man on the left?
Sprinkling, making electricity.
And what is he doing on the right?
He's making electricity.
Okay, so absolutely. The man on the left is Benjamin Franklin, and on the right side, he's performing his famous kite experiment. And what that kite experiment showed us is that the electricity that we have in lightning bolts that we see in thunderstorms is the same electricity that we have in our household, in the lights that we use, in the batteries that we use. All of that electricity is the same. And he was able to prove that that electricity is the same as the natural phenomenon is the same as what we use in real life here. All right, on to the next question. All right, read these three quotes. I'll hang on one second. Okay. Give us a second. Just read the quotes while we're making sure.
Don't raise the hands yet, quite yet. Let me lower the hands first and then you can ask them to raise the hand. Sorry.
Okay. Now, based on these three quotes, can you tell me who said these quotes? Again, you'll have 20 seconds. Go ahead and raise your hand in Zoom. All right, that's 20 seconds. So let's see. Can we get Kunal? Can we unmute him? All right, give us your answer.
The first quote is from Albert Einstein.
And what about the other two?
I don't know.
Okay. So actually, and does anyone else have an answer? Go ahead and raise your hand. Okay. Can we get Jaya? Can we unmute her? All right. Can you give us an answer as well?
Thomas Edison.
Okay. We'll do one more. We'll meet. Let's see. Can we get Jay to give us an answer? All right, Jay. Can you give us an answer?
I also thought it was Thomas Alva Edison.
Okay. So good job. All right. So unfortunately, it wasn't Albert Einstein, but that doesn't matter. As Thomas Edison said, you may have found one right answer, but there are many other ways to learn from the wrong answer. So this actually, in fact, was Thomas Edison. And what he demonstrates in those quotes is that it's all about hard work and it's not about success, because oftentimes failures can teach you more than successes can. So as you guys probably know, he was the inventor of the light bulb as well as many other things. But his inventions have changed the world, but he learned and never gave up from his failures, no matter how many times he failed. All right, we'll move on to the next question. All right, who can tell me what this machine is and who invented it? Go ahead and raise your hand in Zoom. You have 20 seconds. Okay. All right, so let's get Mahi. Can we unmute Mahi?
It's the telegraph, and I don't know who the creator was.
Okay, we'll take one more answer. Let's see. Can we get Yatharth?
I think it's a telegram.
Okay. Does anyone know who invented it? All right, we'll take one more person. I think let's do Aparna. Can someone tell me who invented this? Okay.
He's telling telegram.
Okay. So you guys did have the right answer for what this is. It is a telegraph. And the person who invented it actually, in fact, is two people. One person invented it the year before, and the other person invented it the year after, but they both did it independently of each other. So as you can see on the screen. And what's interesting is that this is what paved the way for technologies such as cell phones, telephones, Zoom meetings even. And we can still use this technology and learn from it. So last year during one of our sessions, one of our participants has created a small telegraph here. And it uses magnetism to create clicking noises, with which we can communicate. And that's exactly how the telegraph you guys can see on your screen works the exact same way. All right, can we move on to the next question? All right, so last question. Read the quote and tell me what this quote is trying to say. You have 20 seconds to answer. Okay, so let's see. Can we get Dia?
You
Dia, go ahead and give us your answer.
You can't test anybody's compatibility just by kinds of
Okay. Um, we'll get one more. Can we get Shubhangi?
You can't test anybody by one thing because everybody's good in their own way. Like a fish couldn't climb a tree, but a monkey could. But
Exactly. Absolutely. So that's exactly what that quote is saying. In fact, Einstein had a similar quote saying that, you know, everyone can be a genius, but if you test a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life thinking it's stupid. But that's not, but obviously it's not, right? So this quote is saying the exact same thing, that testing in one way doesn't necessarily define how intelligent or how successful someone can be. All right, can we move on to the next slide? All right, so these questions, all of these questions tell us that, you know, it's not about winning, it's not about how you succeed every time you have to answer a question. Oftentimes failures will teach you more than your successes will. And it's all about continuing to learn and continuing to be dedicated towards what you're doing. And that's how you get to where you want to be. All right. So yeah, like it says, it's all about tomorrow and it's all about learning. So let's learn a little bit more about learning and talk about what our foundation is and what we'll be doing this summer. So for that, I want to introduce our Vice President of Orexian Foundation, Mr. Sahil Desai, and he'll be talking to us a little bit more about what Orexian is and what we'll be doing this summer.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this online session on a Saturday morning. I know folks are joining us from different parts of at least Iowa, so we're at least at the same time zone, but it's still 10 a.m., it's still on a Saturday, so we appreciate you guys joining us. So I wanted to go through a little bit of what our foundation is about, and then kind of go into a little bit about the summer sessions that we're going to talk about, or at least talk a little bit about today, and then have you guys think about it and sign up. So Orexian Foundation, we are a group of professionals that founded this foundation last year. We're about a year old. It was in April of last year that we went ahead and registered ourselves with the as a nonprofit with the state of Iowa and with IRS. Our main goal as professionals is to give back to the community, and education was one of the things that we are passionate about. Coaching is another thing we're passionate about. So we kind of bundle that all together into a foundation with our it's our aspiration to work with kids of all ages, to kind of coach them, mentor them, to help them understand, to help them with deeper understanding and develop some systems thinking to connect things. In this case, when we talk about our workshops for this summer, it's connecting nature to everything else that we're doing or we use in this real world. So when we say what does our foundation do in general, one of the things that we do think about in terms of learning is if you learn hands-on and you enjoy that learning piece, you tend to keep that knowledge internal to yourself, and it's easy to learn for everyone. So part of that is having fun while you learn. We support things in science, art, and music all through the year. We also do it so that learning is made easier for everyone. Like Abhi said in the quote from Edison, that was the last quote that you, Einstein, I'm sorry. So from Einstein, so everyone learns at their own pace also. And so we want to make sure that we are catering to everyone's pace of learning. And that's how we have the agile approach of learning. We want you to have fun. We also promote innovation. So it's not all about developing something. It is learning from what you are developing as well as learning from your failures when you develop it. So no fear of failure, just innovate. Next slide, please. So what do we do in terms of our, like we did this last year as well. So in terms of our approach is to have hands-on workshops and projects that help you learn the basics. And then we will provide one-on-one coaching, and we've done that last year. So all through the school year, all through 12 months of the year, we as a foundation are available for one-on-one coaching to all of the participants that come to our workshops. So after the workshops are done, you may have other activities or other projects that you wish to work on through the school or through your, want to go through a QC science fair project. We are here to help and coach you to get your projects built, but it'll be all through basics. So you are able to learn it as you're developing the project. And then obviously we provide a platform to help create and demo whatever you learn. So you will see that part of our schedule for this summer, as well as we will give you an opportunity to come back and present to us your creations. So having said that, we wanted to give you kind of a little background on what we did last year in terms of just science. And we have a short video that you guys will be able to see that kind of shows our summer sessions that were not via Zoom last year. Obviously, we were all doing it face to face, and it's kind of a short video that you should be able to see right now. So you can see here, right, the dominoes. So these are kind of the basics of what someone can learn to use dominoes, to have a chain of dominoes to go light a bulb, create a switch out of it. Here you can see there's a coil of magnetism that we also were able to demonstrate. We were able to demonstrate a actuator using electricity and magnets. This is light. A little bit of pulleys and mechanical of how do you actually pull weights. What happens when when you see a crane pulling a lot of weight, a lot of big items. That's what we were teaching the kids, but it was all basics. And then the kids were able to build. The participants were building things through the workshop. So we also, in the video that you're seeing right now, you are actually seeing a couple of things. So we taught the participants in the first project how to build a circuit and what happens when you build a circuit. Then we taught them how to build an actuator or a coil with a needle through it so you can activate it and it moves. And then eventually we showed them when you connect all of that, you can pop a balloon with it. So that's your systems part of the thinking. So you build pieces at a time and then connect them all together to go ahead and eventually build a full system that does something. So coming back to the title of this year's sessions, if you look at the word enigma, it means mystery. Centuries ago, right, we didn't have any iPhones, we didn't have any computers, we didn't have electricity coming into your house, but humans were able to survive. They were using basic things that they found in nature and were able to go about their whole day. So they would look at the rising of the sun, setting of the sun, they would look at the stars to figure out when they had to do something in the day. So what we want to do part of this year's sessions is to actually bring that part of learning from nature into our topics that we are going to discuss this year. So we all know about electricity, we all know about magnetism, we all know about light and sound. You can hear me speak, you can you can hear through your speakers. I'm actually speaking from here through Zoom. But in the real world, what does that really mean? So that's what we want to bring in. There are different forces of nature that cause different things, right? We have hurricanes, we have tornadoes, we have lots of wind. So we have had wind the last week in the Bettendorf area. So what is happening? And what do we use those things that nature provides us to get what we're using at home. And so that will be our biggest part of our workshop, is those sessions to tie nature to these items, these sciences. The other part that we are also doing is bringing in a couple of professionals from outside. So we want to know how professionals have learned and grown in their fields, and what do they work on, how would they be able to, how have they applied their learnings into things that they work on in their daily life. So we want to actually bring in a couple of those professionals from outside to come and speak to the participants. And then that'll be like a Q&A session where participants are able to freely ask questions. And then at the end, like I mentioned before, we would like for the participants to use all of the learnings from these sessions and come back in an online science fair. So you will learn and you go innovate. It's nothing, it's not to fear about failure, but actually build something. And even if it's not working, you still apply the knowledge from your sessions to go ahead and present something to the rest of the participants.
All right, so before we move on, you know, I kind of want to tell the participants what's really in it for them. So, you know, as he mentioned, you know, there's a lot of things that we can learn from nature, but it's all about learning the basics of science. And based off of that, we can actually use a hands-on approach and make sure that, you know, we learn not just through reading or by seeing something happen, but actually doing it. So it's kind of like riding a bike, right? If you just read a book about riding a bike, you won't ever really know how to ride a bike. But if you try, do it physically, even if you fail, you'll be able to continue trying and trying, and you'll be able to succeed. And you'll have fun doing it, and that's really the main thing. You know, if you have fun and you're doing it hands-on, that's the best way to learn. And that's exactly why we want to do an interactive session as part of our workshops. So he'll be talking a little bit more about the kits we'll be providing as part of the workshop. There'll also be follow-along experiments and then demos that will be available that we'll be showing through Zoom. And the participants will also be able to do things at home on their own. And then at the end, bring all of that stuff back for the online science fair. And then, you know, seeing everything and learning things here is all well and good, but how can this be tied to the real world and how people are and what people do as professionals? So that's one of the reasons why we want to bring in coaches and guest speakers to kind of demonstrate how these things will be applied when kids go, or participants go out into the real world. And then the last thing is, you know, putting their ideas into work. So, you know, that's where the online science fair comes in. So you'll be able to use the things that you have learned and develop maybe a project of your own. Even if it fails, it doesn't really matter, because it's not about the success or the failure of it. It's all about learning the things in the process of doing it and having fun while you're doing it. So as you can see in the video, there's some of the things that have been built over the past year by our participants. Whether that be a wind, I guess, generator turbine, and then there's a car that you saw earlier. There's the telegraph that I mentioned to you earlier. There's a Tesla coil even. So we'll be showing you guys those things as we go along.
So again, why are we doing this? Like I mentioned in the beginning, we have a passion for coaching. We are professionals in different facets of your real world. So we have engineers, we have doctors, we have IT professionals as part of the foundation. So we want to give back to the community. Science and art in general is our passion. We love to coach and mentor. And like I said, we will do it throughout the year for participants. We love to build things ourselves. So we have engineers that are not so well versed in IT, but have taken the step to go learn on their own and innovate things on their own or build things on their own for their house. We have IT professionals that have gone ahead and tried to learn about engineering, basic engineering principles, you know, how does electricity. So for example, if you wanted to create an app that lighted the lights in your house, that switched on the lights in your house, and you are an IT professional, you should know what happens in the electricity part of your project. So if you don't go learn about it and build it on your own, you won't learn it. So that's how we've kind of built our knowledge over the years. We love to innovate and create. We love to build things. We try new ideas, things that we may not have done in the past. We try to innovate and build on that. We do have collectively several years of experience with science for fun. So for us, it is a passion as a group. So again, part of this summer sessions for Enigmas of Nature, what should we expect? So in all of our sessions, we will have basic experiments and demos. So there will be follow-along experiments, which we will have kits for that we will send to you. And then we will have some that we will demo here that we really, we cannot send those as a kit for several reasons, but we will demo it and present it over our sessions. For example, we would have a kit about electricity, but we would all, for part of that session, the learning would be to learn about how electricity applies from nature to a man-made to a human body. So part of the kits, as you see here, and you can read through this slide as I'm speaking, but for example, we would have a kit that would combine electricity and magnetism, though we'll have 2 different sessions for those in this summer. We will send them as a singular kit. Basically, it would allow the participants to use those kits to make something completely different. So another thing out of the complete kit. So you could do something in electricity, something in magnetism, and then do something combined together. Same thing with light and sound. We're going to give you something in light and something in sound, and then you can put it all together. There will also be an additional to-do project for the participants, which we will send a kit for. You will make your own wall clock. We will send a kit for that so that the participants can enjoy it on their own time, and you can come and present it to us at the end of the sessions. So going into the details a little bit about our sessions, registration is open today. It's already open. We will have 6 interactive sessions of 2.5 hours apiece. And then you're seeing there is the registration website. We will also have a couple of sessions with the professionals coming in. Right. Each of these sessions for a participant will be $120, which includes a kit, or those 2 kits that we just showed you that will be sent to you. If you have a sibling that is participating as well, the sibling will be $100. Again, we are a nonprofit organization, so whatever we are charging you, we will be using to develop these sessions as we go through for this summer. We do recommend age group of 7 years old to 12 years old, but we're not going to we don't say that we don't want to allow anyone younger than 7. What we expect is if you are a younger than 7-year-old participant, we would like to have your parents be there 100% of the time during the session, because we don't want, there are certain things that a participant younger than 7 may not be able to do if their parents are not there. Again, the registration is at the website that you see on here. It is open, and it will remain open until 6/8, which is the Sunday next week.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday, yep.
The end of the day next Sunday.
End of the day next Sunday, yep. When you register, please do provide us with all of the information that registration form is asking for, because for participants, we are going to ship the kits. And then just a little bit about the kits. We are sanitizing the kits before we are packing them and then sending it to you, so that when you get them, you don't have any concerns about the parts within the kit. And then we're currently set up to handle up to 50 participants. And again, with participants, if they're outside of the Quad Cities area, we would require a little bit more time to ship you the kits. So if you are interested in signing up, I would recommend you signing up quickly. On the right over there on the screen, you should be able to see the different dates of the sessions. There are 2 sessions coming up in the first weekend, or the middle of the June weekend on the 12th and 13th. Then there is a little bit of a gap where we're bringing in the professionals to speak. And also there's a July 4th weekend, so we want to skip that. And then we will have one session a week after that for the next 4 weeks. So it's essentially consuming the whole of June and July, if you can think of that. So that's all I actually had today about the sessions.
So we've been monitoring the chat for any questions. So if we have any specific questions that participants have asked, we can address them now.
I sent a link on the chat window.
Okay, so there's a link in the chat window that you guys can use to go to the registration website. That link will give you the details that you were able to see on screen about the tentative schedule, as well as the sign up button, as well as some of the other information that is in about the workshops as well. If you have any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat now. We'll be hanging around for 15-20 minutes and addressing any questions that you may have.
And then there are email addresses also available on our website for you to send us questions on info@orexian.org and info@scienceforfun.
Scienceforfun@orexian.org.
Scienceforfun@orexian.org.
So I think someone has asked, will the sessions take place face-to-face this year too? Unfortunately, no. As you guys know, because of the COVID situation, we will not be conducting any face-to-face sessions. All of the sessions will be held over Zoom. As of right now, there is no plan for any face-to-face sessions. The kits are the only thing that will be sent to you so that you guys can use as an interactive method of
right. So we also would be, so when we say interactive is, we will be building that same kit that we send you over here, and you can follow building it with us. And so that's how we will be doing a hands-on interactive Zoom session.
As far as, do we need a special setup for at home for safety purposes in terms of the virtual experiment? No, most of the kits and all the kits that will be sent will be safe from that regard. But that is why we have sort of a tentative age. So if anyone is less than 7, we do ask that there's parents available to kind of guide you through the experiments as you work along.
So in terms of safety, as in electrical safety, the only thing that we will need is a normal battery. So every experiment of ours will be a battery operated one, so you won't need actual electricity to operate it.
Yeah. We also have a question, will there be a makeup session if we are not able to make it on that day? So that is a very good question. All of the sessions will be recorded and they will be posted. So for participants, you guys can view those sessions and follow along with the experiments that have been done during that session if you've missed something or if you want to review something. On the other hand, if there's many people who have missed the session, we can potentially consider doing a makeup session. But as of right now, we don't have anything.
Yeah, and again, like we said, we would do one-on-one coaching. So if there are a couple of participants that are not able to attend one of the sessions and really want to do an interactive session again with us, we could do just a one-on-one with them. It may be a shorter session than the normal one that we have, but we could still do a one-on-one through Zoom with you, right, if you miss one of the sessions.
There are some international participants.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we won't be able to ship them the kits because of the COVID situation, because of the cargo flights and things like those.
Okay.
So, however, we are thinking of making an arrangement in the future to have the kits to be purchased locally, the components, but they can still attend the program. They can register, they can attend the program, and then they can just watch the experiments.
Okay, so I don't know how much of that you guys were able to hear, but for our international participants, we will not unfortunately be able to send you the kits because of the COVID situation and sending all of that stuff internationally. However, we will be able to send you guys, or at least give you information on what materials will be required. Most of them are pretty easy to acquire and household materials, so you guys can find those. And you can obviously follow along with any materials that you were able to purchase there. That being said, you're more than welcome to still be a part of the sessions, and we definitely want you to attend, even if you don't necessarily have the kits, because there are other things during the sessions, such as experiments and demos, that you guys will still be able to learn from.
The time zone might be
Yeah.
It's the time zone. You know, if based on where you are internationally, the time zone may be a issue for you. You are here, meaning they have still joined us today.
We'll
It's
see if we can get some critical mass. We might be able to think something.
Yeah. If we, I don't know if you heard that, but if we are able to get enough participants internationally, maybe we'll have to do something different.
Yeah, maybe set up a different
time for
to
them.
make it for you guys. Yeah. As far as let's see where there's the sessions will be posted on the link that's in the chat. That after the session is complete, it will be recorded and then we can post it on that on the link, the same website that you'll be going to register for the workshops. Yes, so the cost is $120 for all of the sessions together,
yeah.
correct?
So 6 weeks of the sessions, interactive sessions, and the 2 weeks of, or 2 to 3 weeks of how many professionals we bring in, all of that is included in that $120.
Right. Oh, and the kit is included.
Yeah, sorry, the kit is included in
yes.
it as well. And that same thing goes for the sibling as well. So it's for $100, it's all inclusive.
As far as any flexibility to adjust the timing of the session, if we have some other commitment already at 10 a.m. So as of right now, there is no plan to have any different session timings, though if we have a significant number of participants who cannot attend the 10 a.m. session, we will certainly consider adjusting the time for that. And then as far as the cost goes, if you do have a sibling as well, they will have a discounted price. Instead of $120, they'll have $100.
There was a question that we missed.
Let's see. Oh, what types of projects are planned? So we have. Yeah, do you want to address that?
Right. So the different types of projects that we will do are, for example, the Tesla coil that you just saw. We want to build that, but we want to build it in terms of how does this come back and tie to nature. What do you see in nature, and what does the Tesla coil actually reflect in nature?
In terms of some of the what? The details are there. Oh yeah, so if you go to the website, there will be details on what kind of projects are planned, what kind of things that you'll be given in the kit, and that can give you some idea of what kind of things we'll be doing during the sessions as well.
So as part of electricity, they'll be able to learn what the basic circuits are. They'll be able to use the basic circuits to learn some of the actions, such as light the LEDs or control the intensity of the light. In the magnetism, they will be able to show the levitation experiments.
Yeah.
They'll be able to do some projects with propelled vehicles like we just saw over there. In the light and sound, what are the different ways the light is manifests itself?
How colors, white, two different colors.
Diffraction, such as light as a wave or light as a... So interesting experiments. As far as sound wave goes, how the sound travels. So there'll be a kit included as part of the sound experiments. They'll be able to see that when we tune the instrument, how does exactly it work?
Yeah. What does it mean to tune an instrument? What are you doing?
Adjust the tension. Really, what happens? Why does it change the frequency and things like that?
Okay, so I don't know how much of that you guys were able to hear. But in terms of electricity, some of the things that we'll be doing is learning how to build circuits, lighting things like LEDs, controlling the intensity of the LEDs. Magnetism, we'll be working on a magnetic levitation experiment. And these are just some of the examples that we have for the first couple. And there's other examples that we have for the sound and light in terms of things like how does tuning a string work for a string instrument or things like that. So that maybe can give you a little bit of idea. Let's see, what if any sessions get canceled due to technical difficulties?
If there are technical difficulties, we will have a makeup session for that one.
Yeah,
we will. Meaning we will have the 6 sessions that we've part of this summer.
As far as, is there an option to register for a few sessions and not all? As of right now, no, we do not have such an option, mainly because they don't necessarily build on each other, but all of the sessions are just as important.
Yeah, and
so
for the science fair that we are planning, if you build something by learning from all of the sessions, that's what our aspiration is. Learn from all of the sessions and then build something at the end of the for the science fair.
As far as for projects, will the kids be able to select the project within the scope, or will there be a list to select from? So it's not, you guys can do whatever projects you want, because for us, it's about innovation and learning. So there is no limit on what you guys can do and what you guys can use as a project for the online science fair at the end that you would like to present.
And again, when Abhi says that, it doesn't really need to be part of what you learned, right? You can actually have a project that you've been thinking about and come up and present it at the science fair.
So I think someone had asked something about, do we need a special setup at home for the virtual experiments? And no, I mean, you'll need a basic, something like a countertop or a table where you can set things up, but there's no special like gloves or anything like that are required.
You need safety glasses.
Yeah, everything can be done with your hands, and that's really it.
One more question. People are asking, can we keep kits?
Yes, the kits are for you to keep. Those are part of our session. That's part of the cost that we're charging you. So it's for you to keep, it's for you to innovate, and to build something over the rest of the year with those kits. Please do share with us, because we'll be very much interested in seeing what you guys learn and build.
So aside from the kits, the people may not need to have any extra tools, but something like a scissor or something like a ruler or something like
a pencil,
Elmer's glue. Those are the things that they may have. If they have a glue gun, well and good, but otherwise a glue.
Yeah, so what we could do is we could also we are going to send you instructions on using the kit. And so in that instruction, we will also put in things that you already may have at home that we may need for building those kits. Glue, a pencil, you may need some scissors, things like that. Some basic items that you may already have at home that you may need additional to the kits that we will send you. We'll put that in the list of the directions.
So one more thing we want to say that considering our last year's experience, initially the parents had similar questions, but then when the kids actually started doing the workshops, they enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, and
so use this opportunity, share it with your friends and their friends, so that they can all collectively learn together. That's the best.
So, and we showed you the video from last year, right? There were some questions coming into that session from parents on how much the kids will be able to learn, how much attention span they may have. And we were able to have fun for each session for about 4 hours with the kids. And the kids were from ages 4 to 16. And all of the kids, they had different attention spans, different pace at which they were learning. But we saw that, once the kids were able to do something hands-on, they were able to enjoy it and then actually show what they were able to build. And so I know there will be questions like that this time around, but since we've gone through this experience last year, we can convincingly say the kids will enjoy the sessions that we will put together.
Questions? Yeah. Again, if you have any other questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat.
So we'll be here for another 5 minutes or so. So if you do have any more questions, and if you can't get to any more questions right now, we talked about the email addresses that you can send it. Yeah. So there is the email addresses on the page, and you can always send the emails.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Good. So, the session is, or the registration link is open. As soon as you guys want to register, the earlier is better, because we will be getting, we do have a limit of 50 participants, and we do want to give time to be able to package and ship the kits that we'll be making as well. We do have a question here. How do we access the recording? So yeah, as we said earlier, so the recordings will be done and then they'll be uploaded onto the website, the same website that you'll be going to register.
Yeah, and we'll have today's recording over there as well.
Yeah. Any topic on frequency like radio. So that will be something that we will address in sound. Yeah.
And you can, please, if you have ideas about what you are most interested in the topics that we have talked about, things that you would like to learn, please feel free to email us after you register and talk to us about what you would like to see happening. Yeah, that will be, like you said, it will be more interactive if you are actually able to send us more things that you want to learn about through these topics. And we will learn a few things too from that. So it's all about learning and all about having fun.
All right, we'll give another 3 minutes or so for questions, and then we will end the meeting today. Again, if you do have any more questions outside of that, or if you think of something after the session is over, go ahead and email us with the links that are provided on the website. Oh, and make sure when you do register, do put your phone number. Preferably, if you have WhatsApp, use the cell phone number so that we can add you to a WhatsApp group and connect you with the rest of the participants for Enigmas of Nature for this.
And we can actually send you updates on that same WhatsApp.
And one other thing, you can also call or text. Can you text? Yeah, you can text the Erexian Foundation phone number, and that will be posted in the chat window as well. It's 563-663-9139. And then lastly, you can also access the Erexian Foundation Facebook page, where you can also follow along and getting comments, and we'll be posting updates and information as well. Okay. I'll give a couple more minutes.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of more minutes over here.
Again, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
We're very appreciative. I know it's a different world this time around this summer. We wish we would have done this face-to-face like we did last year. Unfortunately, situations are such that we're not able to, but we will try to make this as interactive as you had last year. The kits that we provide will be able to keep you interested in these sessions as well. Again, appreciate that you have called in the morning session today to know more about our summer sessions. And again, if you have any questions, please do feel free to email, call, put a comment on Facebook, whatever makes it easy for you to get in touch with us so we can answer all your questions. Okay.
With that, we'll be concluding today's session. Again, if you have any more questions, feel free to email us, call us, Facebook, et cetera, and then we'll be seeing you for the first session after you guys sign up.
Have a good weekend.